Hi, my name is Paige and welcome to another Clear My Shelves video. So if you haven't seen my last one, it was reading all of Bridgerton. So if you're interested in that, I will link that up here for you. So I just filmed that clip. We are fresh and ready to go. So let's talk about this Clear My Shelves video. This one has been in the makings for so long because I accidentally kind of planned out two very similar Clear My Shelves videos and I was getting confused which one I was reading for. One of them was just starting series in general. One of them was starting fantasy series. And as I was picking up books, filming clips, I was realizing that I was mixing them both up. So I decided to just take the clips that I had that were starting any sort of series. And I will say that I was shocked by some of these books and how I felt about them in this series. So on my last Clear My Shelves, I think we ended with, let me double check my notes, 132 books. So this video should be taking us down a couple of numbers, and I'm going to be honest with you, I don't even know which clip I filmed first. So I will see you at the end after you watch past me talk about any of these books that are in this video. I know which ones they are, I just don't remember which order I filmed them in, so enjoy book one. Okay, so I thought I recorded my reaction to this book. I swore that I did, but I was either talking to a camera that wasn't on or making this up. But this was Iron Widow and I loved it. It was so good. It was almost a 5-star, and I'll get into why it wasn't quite a 5-star and how it could be later. But this was essentially about a woman, and I think her name is it Chaitin? I can't remember how the audiobook pronounced it. It looks like Zetian, but that's not how the audiobook said it. I'm sorry, I should have looked that up right before I started this. But she has been brought up to go into the military in this like alternate China, and going into the military for women means that they are going to become concubines, which means that the men that are in the military get to do basically whatever they want with them, and then they go into these fighting machines and they almost draw upon the energy of the women that they take, and the women ultimately end up dying as a way to serve the military. But sometimes some of these women are able to make it out of these situations, and they are called Iron Princesses if they do so. And then in other rare instances, they are called Iron Widows if they are able to go into this machine and take the energy from the men, which ultimately ends up killing the men. So that's what happens to our main character. And so she is put into this military, but because she's so dangerous and because men in this society are coveted and the most important type of person, she is kind of put in more and more dangerous situations to kind of get rid of her so that she does not end up killing any more sons and stuff. So it's a very interesting story. It's one that like didn't go where I expected it to go. There was a lot of choices that she as a main character made that made her very, very, very morally gray. She was just a character that I haven't seen a lot of. Like, you don't get that type of character very often, and so it felt really refreshing to just see a character who doesn't make the choices that most heroines would make, you know? So I really enjoyed that. This also has an amazing love triangle, like an honest triangle. It was so good. I was so happy that that happened. But the ending just kind of went off the rails. It was very confusing to me. I wasn't quite sure what happened. And then on the last page, the very last chapter has the most disturbing sounding scene. And I wasn't sure if I read it right. I read it like 3 or 4 times to try and see if I read it right. And I think I did. But it was like very odd, very much a cliffhanger that I'm not so sure about. So the things that happen at the end dropped me down to a 4-star rating just because I feel like it didn't make sense. I feel like not a lot of questions were answered, but I do know that a second book is going to come out next year, I believe. So if things are more wrapped up in that second book, I think I could see myself ranking this a little bit higher because the payoff from the second book might answer some of the questions in this one. But overall, I had a really fun time reading this one. I feel like it's going to be pretty memorable for me. So yeah, I highly recommend this one. I am glad that I started it, and I am already so eager for when the next one comes out. So I'm hoping that the author gets a lot of speed under her and she can put out the next book quickly. All right, let's go start another series. All right, I have finished the Atlas 6 and I was going to check in halfway through, but I literally could not stop thinking about this book last night when I made it to the halfway point that I just decided to not pick up my camera and continue on and finish this out. And all I have to say is that I have already put the hold for the next book on Libby, and I'm hoping that I can go and purchase the next book within the next couple of weeks and figure out what the heck just happened and how the story is going to end. Did I understand it? Not really. Not really. There's a lot of little details that just went right over my head, but the big plot points, like, I got, and I'm intrigued. And I enjoyed most of these characters. There are some that I am not the biggest fan of, but it was like a weirdly good time. I felt like some of the conversations were just a little, I don't know, stuffy in a way, and again, I didn't love some of the characters, so every time we had to be in some of their point of views, I wasn't the biggest fan of that, but the story overall, I'm just super intrigued. Can I explain what this is about? Not really. It's like a secret society where 6 people with like really advanced magical skills are selected, and they spend a year at this society as initiatives. I can't say that word. Initiates. Initiates? Is that how you say that? I feel like I've only ever read that word. I don't think I've ever said that word aloud. But I don't feel like we got a lot of them learning throughout the year. Like, there were a few glimpses into it. And I do wish that I had spent more time on that and them learning and being a part of the school. But for what it was still a really fun time. And like I said, I'm already eager to pick up the next book immediately. I'm like half convincing myself to just go to the bookstore. I should have bought it today. I literally went to the bookstore today and I should have purchased it. I picked it up, I looked at it and went, I don't need to spend $27 right now. And then I put it back. I should have just bought it because now I just need it now. But I need to wait for the hold on Libby. Anyway, I like this. I've been talking too much. I am glad that I started this series. Yes, I will be continuing. So unfortunately, I decided to DNF this book. And I'm kind of bummed about it because I have only heard good things about this one, but I could not get into it for the life of me. Like, I am talking to the point where I was trying to follow along with it and I could not pay attention, so I decided that I was going to pull up The Sims and I was going to build and just listen to it as I was building, and I still could not focus on the book. And so I set it down for a couple of days and I finished another book and I decided to pick it back up today, and I made it maybe like 1 extra chapter. And then I decided that it was just not for me. There was something about it that just felt so young, and there was so much happening that I couldn't keep track of who was who. There were so many characters, there were so many names. I honestly forget that what the main character's name is. Okay, I was vaguely right. So I thought it was Bree. It is Bree, but she's also referred to as Paige every now and then. So for a minute I thought she had my name, but I was like, I don't think that's right. So I think a page is like a type of person or like a recruit in whatever magical society she seemed to have joined. But it just wasn't holding my attention. I honestly don't know what was happening in it. I don't know who was doing what the purpose of any of it was. So I think I'm just gonna DNF this one. I think I'm just gonna let myself DNF. I'm no longer interested in this book. I thought I was. I mostly got it because of the hype, but it just ended up not working out, and that is okay. But I do hate to DNF like massively loved books, but it is what it is. So on to the next one, I guess. Okay. So I thought the whole time that this book was gonna be like fairy tales, fantasy. I was thinking this was gonna be like the next ACOTAR. You know, everyone was saying that they loved it when they read it, and I was like, oh, of course it's gonna be like ACOTAR. She's probably like a fae queen, something or other, you know? That's just what this cover gave me. Looking at it, the red hair, the deep lips, I was like, oh, it's gonna be set in a forest, very fall-like. Yeah, so looking at the cover, you see on her eyeball, that's a ship. That is a ship. This is a pirate book. This is a pirate book. And one thing that I don't know if I've ever shared, because why would I bring this up, but I was obsessed with Pirates of the Caribbean. I had, throughout middle school, an entire room decked out in Pirates of the Caribbean. My room was brown and reds and blacks and any color that felt like the Pirates of the Caribbean to me, like the wood tones and anything Johnny Depp would have worn. I was decked out in all pirates, everything. My bedspread, I think, was somehow Pirates of the Caribbean themed. Every single item that I could find with a picture of Jack Sparrow on it was on my walls. Like, I'm talking M&M wrappers and probably cereal boxes. Like, I cut out Jack Sparrow and Elizabeth Swann and Will Turner and put those on my wall everywhere. I was obsessed with pirates. So finding out that this was a pirate story, loved it. It was so much fun. Now that it's been like 2 or 3 weeks since I have read it, I don't really remember all the details. I will not lie about it. But I know that I liked it. I read it very quickly. It was just a fun, quick, young adult story with pirates. And I was here for it. So I don't really have much else to say about this one. It follows a main character fable. You know, the title kind of made me think it was just going to be like a fairy tale retelling. Nope, that's her name. And she has been almost abandoned on this island by her father, and he basically told her that she has to survive, she has to get off this island, and if she ever makes it to him, he will give her what she is owed. And this happens after her mother has died in a big old shipwreck with her father and her, and she's not really sure why her father would have abandoned her. So she finds a way to make it off this island to make it to him, and then after that she goes on a bit of an adventure. So I remember liking her as a main character. I felt like she was very typical of a YA main character. I don't know. I feel like she felt a little bit like Feyre to me. I kept thinking of, now I can't remember the name of the book. I think I kept thinking of A Curse So Dark and Lonely when I was reading this one. No, not A Curse So Dark and Lonely. I kept thinking of Defy the Night by Bridget Kemmerer, who also wrote A Curse So Dark and Lonely. So I thought about that one a lot. I don't know. I feel like the characters were just very similar. Her relationship with one of the male pirates was also kind of similar to that Bridget Kemmerer story. And I really liked that one. So I gave that one 5 stars, and it looks like I gave this one 4 stars. So it was a good one. It was fun. I might pick up the next one. I don't think it's on the top of my to-do list, my TBR or anything, but if I ever find it on sale, like, I'm probably gonna pick it up and see how the story ends, and then also have the rest of her face because I really think the covers were beautiful. So that's how I felt about this one. We might continue, we might not. I don't really know, but it was good. It was fun. If you have it, give it a go. It's pirates, and I love pirates. Okay, we have made it to the final book, and I just finished this last night in one sitting, and I am a little bit torn on how I feel about this. I think that it was a good book. It was engaging. I was interested in it. The characters were just annoying enough to make me not like them and not really root for them, but also endearing enough to make me want to see what was going to happen with them. And so I kind of settled on like a 3-ish star at the end of this, maybe a little bit closer to a 4, because I wasn't in love with it, but I still liked it. I just don't see myself finding the urge to pick up the next book in the series. So if you don't know what this one is about, it is about a girl named Avery Grams, and she is about 16, I believe, and in high school, and she's very, very smart. She really wants to get into a good college and kind of get out of the situation that she's in. Her mother recently died. Her older half-sister has taken her in, and she loves her sister. They get along great, but her sister is in a bit of an abusive relationship, and Avery really just wants to get out of that. She wants to be able to afford a good life, you know? So one day she is pulled into the principal's office, and somebody named Grayson Hawthorne, I think it's Grayson, says that she is in his grandfather's will, and Avery doesn't know who this grandfather is whatsoever, but Grayson basically says she and her sister need to get on a plane right away because they've been waiting about a month to read this will. And so Avery goes to this estate and finds out that in the will she is being left billions of dollars, and the rest of this man's family is not being left quite as much money. But the caveat of her getting that $1 billion is she has to live in this house for 1 year. So that is kind of where the book kicks off, and it was interesting. It's a bit of a mystery trying to figure out what led this man who doesn't know who Avery is to leave her billions of dollars, and all the while Avery and this man's 4 grandsons are trying to figure out if this is more of a riddle from their grandfather, because I guess he was a pretty cryptic guy, liked to talk in riddles, have them solve really difficult puzzles. He was just a very strange man, and so it's the mystery of why he did this, what was going on, and it kept me interested, but I didn't love it. I didn't love any of the male characters. They were all kind of scary personally. I just felt like they were all know-it-alls who thought they knew the best of everything, and they were just very, very rich people, so you know that they were powerful. So they were odd, and there was a bit of a love triangle, like a double love triangle in this that I wasn't really here for. So in the end, I don't think I will be continuing on with this series, but it wasn't a bad time. Like, if I already had the other books on my shelf, I probably would still pick them up just to know what happens, because there are some plot points left unfinished by the end of this first book, because it is a 4-book series at this point now. So yeah, that's that. I guess we can just talk about all the rest of the books, recap a little bit. So these are the last 4 that I have, because I have already unhauled Legendborn. That one was read so long ago, I already sold that back to the store, the secondhand store by my house, and they took that because I'm definitely not going to finish that one. I am not interested in the series since I have finished it. I don't even know when. I haven't really thought back on it, but the Atlas 6 I really did enjoy. I think I mentioned that I wanted to buy the second book right away, and I have just recently read that in September, which is when I'm filming this final clip of this video. So that will be in an upcoming Clear My Shelves video, how I feel about the sequel to Atlas 6. For Iron Widow, I have also bought the sequel on pre-order through Barnes & Noble, so when that comes out early to mid next year, I will have that arriving so that I can figure out what's going on with this series, because it does still come back to mind every now and then. I do still think about these characters, and I really enjoyed this one. I have also since made a few connections with another series that I really, really enjoy, but I feel like I can't talk about it because it would give spoilers away for both series, so I won't mention it there. But there is a series that I adore that it has been making me think on, so that is another point in this one's direction. So next year, maybe you'll find out my thoughts of the continuation to this book. And then for Fable and the Inheritance games, I don't know if I'm going to continue on with Fable still. I don't believe I will with the Inheritance game, like I just mentioned. But Fable, if I do see the book on sale somewhere, I will probably pick it up, but it's not a #1 priority, you know? So that's where I'm at with those 5 books and those series. Of course, my camera dies right at the most exciting part of this video. How many books are on my TBR? So, like I said at the very beginning of this, we were at 132 from my Bridgerton video, and we have now read 4, unhauled 1. So we have gotten 5 books off my TBR, which, if we do math, and I hope I did it correctly, we are at 127 books on my TBR. Which means we are going in the correct direction this time. My Bridgerton one, we had to go back up a little bit because of a book haul, but there's not a book haul in this video. So I'm feeling a little bit more motivated to get more of these Clear My Shelves videos done so that you can see the actual number that I am currently at on my TBR. If you want a spoiler, you can go look at my Goodreads. I always keep that updated with my TBR numbers. So that is where we're at with my Clear My Shelf. I am excited to have a couple of series that I am eager to continue on with. Let me know if there are any series that you want me to start. If you have read any of these series, if you want me to change my mind of any of these series that I just read in this video, I don't know. Let me know. And as for an emoji, you can leave me in the comments. Leave me anything pirates related, because we love pirates. Did I already mention that in the Fable clip? I think I did, because I love pirates. So I will see you in my next video, which should hopefully be out very, very shortly. And if you want to talk to me about books in the meantime, I have my Instagram and Discord always linked in the description. And I think this video is going out in October, so if you would like to join the Fall into Winter Readathon, you can find that in the description as well. That is a 3-month readathon that I am doing with 4 other friends. So yeah, there's that to look forward to. But thank you so much for being here and watching this all the way through. I really, really appreciate it. And I'll let you go. Okay,